My name is Nick Molbach. I am one of the co-creators and kind of the, showrunner for the horror series Everyday Dread.
I'm Tim Valenti. I am co-creator also. Helped Nick come up with some of the concepts.
I'm Albert Hare. I'm the killer, so to speak.
And we're here today to talk about kind of our series as well as just the experience of making movies in Cleveland. Now, has that been an inspiration for anybody in the audience? Has anybody wanted to get involved, even as like an extra in the background of a scene for a movie?
Yeah.
Well, in our PowerPoint, we do have an option. It'll just take you to a Google form if you ever want to get involved when it comes to film in Cleveland or projects and stuff like that that we are doing. When it comes to making movies, one of my favorite things is just getting new people involved, fresh faces who maybe have never done it before. So if you're ever interested, we have plenty of availability, or our email at the end of the PowerPoint. That said, you want to talk a little bit about the project itself?
Oh, sure.
Let there be lights.
So I was watching this show called High Maintenance on HBO. It used to be on, and basically each episode has like a different character, and they just kind of drop you in the middle of their day, and you just kind of get to know them a little bit, and then at the end they like interact with this weed dealer, and every episode is a different character, but at some point what they all have in common is they all buy weed off the guy, he's called. So I was watching it one day while reading the news, and I was like, it was like a story about a couple that had gotten killed in their garage. They were just like drinking wine, hanging out, and some random guy just came and killed them, and I was kind of like, it would be kind of cool to merge those two, where you just kind of jump into the middle of someone's day, you get to know them a little bit, and then they die. But the theme is that they all are killed by the same killer, but we don't know who this killer is or where he came from. He's just the guy or the killer. So I went to Nick one day and was like, we should explore this a little bit. So we came up with Everyday Dread, and so we've been making a few episodes. We just finished the third one, or I think we have one day of filming, so we have a third one coming out, and we just want to keep making them, and we want to focus on the character study side of it, so you get to know the people a little bit, but then also make it terrifying. So that's our goal with it.
Yeah, and one of the things that we really wanted to play with this series was taking your everyday fears and personifying them in a way that makes it entertaining for whoever is going to be watching. You're going to see that with our first episode, which we will be showing here today, that it takes a fear of meeting a stranger on the street and personifies that fear in a very bizarre way, but like I said, you will see. So, making movies in Ohio. I have been fortunate enough myself to have been making movies for about 8 years now. Started with this guy right here. We made the Star Wars fan film called Star Wars: The Rise of Ren. And Albert played one of the main antagonists, and I got to play Kylo Ren. I don't think that I probably resemble Adam Driver whatsoever, but my friend threw me into the role. So, but yeah, film in Cleveland has been something really exciting to me for a very long time. And it's not just, has anybody here seen Superman? I'm sure everybody, yeah, I was gonna say. Fortunate enough for that movie to have filmed here in Cleveland, but one of the amazing things about film in Cleveland is the independent side, where we just get to the second episode of Everyday Dread. We filmed in our apartment and filmed it all in one day. We had makeup, lighting, all kinds of different stuff. My cat with the axe, I still have nightmares every single night that he's going to attack me. But yeah, film in Cleveland has just been something that I have been incredibly passionate about for such a long time. And it is something that, with the Film Commission and with all the different opportunities that we have to be able to create, that we're able to be fortunate enough to tell our stories that we want to tell. So. All right, so first episode of Everyday Dread. I was not entirely sure if we wanted to tell a more grounded story to begin or if we wanted to throw everything at the wall and see what stuck. So we're going to, I don't know if anybody has already recognized what the style might be for the first episode, but you will see. What was it like bringing a horror character to life in such an unconventional manner?
Quite frankly, it was actually a lot of fun because it's a new setting. So as a person, so I work in the horror industry when it comes to haunted house acting and everything. So being in a setting that was completely different from that made for a unique experience and made it so I can kind of make a character my own as opposed to embodying another character.
And Tim. So Albert's been around for a while when it comes to film, and this was Tim's first foray into film. And what's funny is we did a competition piece at your house before in your backyard, and I think you guys were on vacation while we were in the process of filming it. But being that, we are opening ourselves up to new locations and all kinds of different stuff, what was it like filming a movie with blood and gore and all kinds of different stuff at your house?
It was stressful because I was like, don't get blood everywhere. But we had a good time with it, and we just spent the day just laughing and filming and coming up with new concepts. And then, my favorite part is the editing and going through, like, what do we do with the music? What do we do with the cuts? And with the Everyday Dread series, this was a good way to start it because it was fun and it kind of draws people in, something familiar. But, we want to make sure that every episode is sort of a different genre. So the next episode you're gonna see it's a much different tone. It doesn't continue. So the goal is to just have all these different genres, all these different concepts, so everyone can relate to each episode and each character that we have. So this was a really fun way to start, and I had a great time filming it and putting it all together. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I don't think that when we came up with the idea that it was like the first thing you were like, yes, an episode of Full House will parody. It was that's just kind of how my brain goes when it comes to writing. And what's nice with the freedom of it all is that you kind of just can create whatever you want as long as your mind is put to it. Yeah. So this is our second episode. This is titled The Final Kill. It was inspired heavily by my own writer's block because Everyday Dread gave me the outlet to finally start actually writing again, and that was never something that was my strongest suit, so I do appreciate being able to express myself a little bit more creatively here. But this is The Final Kill. What was interesting about that one was we ended up wanting to add a lot more to it, kind of as things went on, coming up with more ideas on how to kill the girl without her actually getting killed, voiceover stuff. You might notice that the head gets a lot bigger of the killer in some of those scenes at the end. It's because I filled in. Just wanted to kind of, get the episode wrapped up and everything. So my big head got to be the killer, uncredited. So, but yeah, moving forward, we have Everyday Dread Moving On, directed by my friend Carly Jeanette. Her episode, in kind of more of a Scream style, follows a girl who's moving on from a relationship and kind of how she's dealing with it moving into her new house. We have shot one day of it, if you want to talk a little bit about that.
So it's different because we did a whole night shoot instead, which meant there were a couple differences. One, it's a lot harder for me to see out of the mask, so using some of the props that we have, we had to be more careful and only accidentally break one thing instead of a lot more. And then playing with different lighting and trying to work with different props to get different effects was also a part of the process, which ended up sometimes working and sometimes not.
I was gonna say, has anybody ever heard of a blood squib before? So basically what it is it's an air compressor that shoots fake blood out of a projectile. My boss built one, at my job, and it works. I know that because there's a button at the bottom of the squib, and he dropped it on the floor accidentally, and it shot water into my face while we were testing it. Unfortunately, while we were shooting, and that just kind of comes with the process, especially by the time that the nighttime came around for the shoot, the air compressor inside of the squib was completely run out. I should have just grabbed another one. It was my fault. But, it is something that we're trying to do, kind of expand the way that, we do these effects. Everything kind of comes, with the territory when it comes down to it. But my favorite thing about film is if we think it, we're just going to try and do it. So these are just some of the people to look out for in the cast. Again, Albert playing the killer. If you ever want to support us, this is kind of our like Patreon type thing. It's called Cup of Coffee. We're on there. We'll be posting, more exclusive content that shows you guys the behind the scenes of what it is that we will be doing for future episodes. So that QR code is up here, but until then, I guess we will, not sure how much time we have left, but we'll leave the floor up to questions from everybody in the audience. So, if anybody has any, obviously.
So you talked a little bit about like getting involved in everything. So how does if I've never been in a film and I want to get started, how would I do that? Who's a good person to talk to? Are there events that you can go to, or?
Yeah, so one of the nice things about Cleveland, it's where I met a lot of the people that I have been fortunate enough to work with, is we hold mixers and stuff like that. I don't know if anybody has heard of the 48-hour film project. It is exactly what you think it is, a disaster. No, I'm just kidding. You make an entire movie in 48 hours. Been doing that for about, 8 or 9 years now. But they hold mixers and stuff like that. It's a really good way to kind of get involved with your first project and stuff like that, as well as we have our email, and obviously our form at the beginning. If anybody missed it, we just have a form that if you want to sign up and be an extra, if you want to be involved with film. I think that's the best thing about making movies, is getting people involved that want to, partake and be involved with making movies. I know that after Rise of Ren, that was one of Albert's things, was he came to me and was like, if you ever have, I think it actually was a slasher type character in particular that he was looking to play, and I was like, funny enough, I actually do. But I've been fortunate enough to work with the filmmaker Johnny K. Woo on a lot of his films and learn from him that, anybody can do it and anybody can have a lot of fun getting involved with projects and stuff like that. So I guess my biggest thing for myself, if you want to get involved with film, just ask. My brother got married last night, and one of his friend's brothers was there and was like, hey, can I be an extra in one of your movies? I'm like, you made the wrong decision, because now you're just going to be in every single movie that you want to be in. Like I said, it's one of my favorite things, just to get people involved. I know, Tim came to me and was like, hey, I have an idea. And I was like, okay, well, let's get the ball rolling, and now we're here in front of you guys talking about a project that we're lucky enough to be able to showcase to everybody. So, and mixers, like I said. The Film Commission, I'm not sure if they have a booth here this show. If you go to the Fan Expo Cleveland, they usually have a booth and a panel to talk about, like I said, they had something to talk about with Superman, obviously, shooting last time that they were here, but they usually are around, and they hold mixers as well. So it's really just, like I said, it's fun. I can never shut up about it. You could give me 4 hours and I probably would still not stop talking about film. So, anybody else?
what's like the experience level? Like, do you need to actually be like a professional actor? Do you need, what is like the gauge to really start getting involved in it?
That's a very good question, and Matt over there is a perfect example of that. He did a 48-hour film project with us for the first time and was nominated for Best Actor for it. But no, I mean, you know, like, it does not matter. If you have zero experience, we are happy and fortunate to work with you and be that first experience if you want to be involved with film. Even if it is just standing in the background and being a background actor, you are as important as the, I guess I say director because that usually is the role that I end up giving myself, but like everybody is important when it comes to being a part of a project like this. So no experience, a lot of experience, it doesn't really matter to us. So. Anything else? No? Well, I appreciate everybody being here and being a part of our panel. This is the first time that we've done one for Everyday Dread, and you guys were here to help it be a success, and we're really grateful to have you as an audience. And yeah, if you guys have any questions or want to be involved, just shoot us an email. So, thank you.